folks, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
And I'm Vinny Chase.
Oh, and I'm Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Why
are you Adam Sandler today, if you don't mind me asking?
Adam Sandler? Because I want to be you. We are talking about the top 5 comedies.
Top 5 comedies of all time.
Right, but before we do, let's get some of our questions from a few weeks ago.
Yay.
The Quizmaster.
Hey.
He's back. He said, I have been busy because of finals, my class finals, to go back in time and kill Cyber Hitler. Interesting.
He's been watching Kung Fury.
And then as he segues this, he goes, speaking of time travel, what's your favorite take on the time travel in any medium? His would be the Chrono Trigger or Donnie Darko, which mine would be Donnie Darko.
Oh my god, that's a really good question.
That's a very good time travel.
I love me some Chrono Trigger.
My opinion is pretty simple, and I don't know a lot about it. You probably know a lot more, Matt. I think that on most movies and medium actually get time travel wrong. Not that they get the process of it wrong.
They do. Most of them do.
It just opens up too many doors that they are not equipped to answer.
That's correct.
I do think Chrono Trigger, because I love that video game, it's one of the most fantastic RPGs I've ever played. I think they did it right in that. And in Donnie Darko, your other example,
I think they did it right.
I love Donnie Darko because it was peculiar and it was interesting and they didn't leave themselves open to a lot of like what.
And Donnie Darko kind of subscribes to that school of thought when it comes to time travel, that time is going to end the same way. It doesn't matter what you do; it's going to end the same way. You know what I mean? Like you can't change the end result. You can change kind of the things between point A and B, but it's
Well, now when you say that, Babylon 5.
I know, right? Now
they did it right.
Babylon 5.
They did it right too. All right. So Quizmaster will be here next week on the show.
Good. Yes.
We'll just have him over.
Yes. You can talk all about that.
There you go. All right.
Although you didn't mention Back to the Future, which did it the best.
I knew you were going to say that.
Of course. Who doesn't want to go back in time and have their mom hit on them?
That may be just you. I don't know.
Anyway, Dak says, "Preach, man, preach." Without Toonami, I would never become an anime fan that I am today, and I still watch it every Saturday night. Such a great collaboration. So you have another Toonami fan who believes that was a big, big influence.
Yeah, and major shouts out to ToonamiAftermath.com. Go support those guys. They have an account set up where you can donate. It's just an endless stream of Toonami shows from back in the day. I put it on every night and just watch. ToonamiAftermath.com.
And finally, Brian C. says, yeah, 90s shows. I think if he was here, he'd say, I love the 90s.
I love the 90s.
You love the 80s, but Brian C. loves the 90s. He says, what about 90s movies? Hold up, Brian C. Hold up.
They're so rad. They need their own podcast.
Tubular.
They need, and in fact, we'll call it the Saturday Morning Samoflange Radcast.
Radcast. There you go. That will come in time. But today we're going to talk about the top 5 comedies, which was a little hard for all of us here. So we kind of had to take off anything that we put in other lists, we took out, and we're trying to get the most streamlined, but still I have a top 11. I know you had the same amount, and you had the same amount. So we're going to give our top 5 here. And who gets to go first?
I'll go first because I'm Vinny Chase. I'm the superstar here.
That's right.
I'm the leading man.
You get to go first.
Y'all are just part of my entourage.
Oh.
You know, the thing about these comedies is I had to pull the TV test, kind of like the March Madness bracket style. There's so many comedies to me that are good that I had to narrow them down to, if one was on one station and another was on another, which one would I watch? So I went with these. These 5 movies aren't necessarily, I don't know how to say this. These are just the ones that always make me absolutely laugh, that I actually guffawed at in the theater, and that get better every time that I watch them. So number 5 to me is Borat. That movie absolutely kills me every time I see it.
I love the Borat too. High five.
High five. Very nice.
Very nice, yes. Like in 2006 when that hit, and I've always liked Sacha Baron Cohen. I used to watch his the Ali G show on HBO, and that's where that character came from. And it's one of these characters that, to me, has never made a misstep. Like, that character just registers with me anything that he does because he gives everything he is to that character. Like, I would love to just be around him to see. I mean, the cojones that he has as an actor to do the things that he does.
And the ability to keep a straight face.
Yes, to never break character. To never break character.
Never.
Never.
Even when the situation would warrant it for anyone else.
Yes.
I'll be honest. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That is my number one.
Whoa, is it? Dang!
Whoa.
You just hit number one.
Yeah, it's the funniest dang movie.
I watched that movie 3 times in theaters, maybe. I cried the first time I watched it, I had to go back and watch it because I missed so much because I was laughing and I was hurting and I had hot tears in my eyes. The second time I watched it, I was hurting, had hot tears in my eyes, had to go watch it for a third time because I still missed those parts. I finally saw the whole movie uninterrupted by my own, hurtful laughter the third time around. Every time, and then I bought the movie and watched the deleted scenes and cried all over again.
Yes.
And this is cheese. And this is cheese. And this over here, this is wood. No, it's cheese.
That's what's funny to me though is that like you see
black enough.
You see all of the the crazy things that he does, like in the previews and stuff, like running around naked and yada yada, and that's one thing. But it's really like the nuances of that character that make it funny, like the little things that makes him a believable person. Why everybody believes that he's real, because he does things like that. He does.
I had the 15 Cinnabon and my nose is like a mouth of tired dog.
Yeah. Just I like the part whenever he goes to the hotel.
That's the deleted scene.
Yeah. And what is it in the hotel and he's talking to like the black guys or whatever and their pants are down or something? Like I don't remember like the exact conversation, but
no, he goes up to the guy behind the, what do you call the guy behind the maitre? That's not maitre d'. What is it?
Just the clerk, the desk clerk.
And he goes, what is up, the vanilla face? So we need a place to put up our pillowcases for them.
Yeah, it's just something about everything that he does.
It's fantastic. I gotta admit that movie to me is still the funniest movie
it never gets old.
Ever seen.
I love that character. And Bruno to me, just to go and throw in Bruno. Bruno is hilarious. It's not as good to me, but
it pales in comparison.
But Borat, oh my God, that mustache! He's a believable guy.
Bruno was a huge step down. Not say I didn't laugh at Bruno, but it was a huge step down.
It's the character.
Because Borat's character.
It's the character.
Near the end of Bruno, though, when he broke that entire crowd of people.
Well, that was nuts. That is more shock value. Bruno is kind of Trojan horses.
It's more shock. But Borat's just funny.
Oh,
anyway, all right. So,
I guess iPod. You cannot wait. What is it?
Good number 5 there, but it should be number 1.
Didn't mean to nail your number 1.
I have to talk about. That's all right. You
iPod
did.
Mini. Everyone know iPod Mini for little girl.
Go ahead. What's your number 5 there, Sandler?
A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, that is a good one.
It's a great movie.
I should have had that on my list.
Yeah, I adore this movie. Kevin Kline's one of my all-time favorite actors. He comes from this sort of like old-school theatrical way of acting where he shows so much expression through his movement and through his facial expression, and he's just such a great presence. And then you bring in Jamie Lee Curtis, who's really funny in that movie, and John Cleese.
You know what?
A master of comedy.
You know what? Go back. I think every single person in that movie is funny.
Yeah,
I think every single person played their role perfectly, and it fits.
You have the Pythons, and you have Kevin Kline. It's kind of a it's God, that movie's good. I watched it recently again, and that part when he's like holding him out the window, he's like, "I apologize profusely for what I've done."
Now, did you see the quote unquote sequel? It wasn't a sequel, but it had the exact same cast.
Oh, it was when they were in the zoo, right?
Yeah, Ferocious Creatures.
Yes, it's funny.
Or is it Beautiful Creatures?
No, it's something like that though.
I don't know. Perfect. It is called Fierce
Creatures. There it is.
1997.
Okay. Yeah, and just as good as A Fish Called Wanda. But A Fish Called Wanda does deserve to be in there.
Do not call me stupid.
That is a good pick. All right, so my number 5 is going to go really classic. Brian, see, you like 90s? Well, how you like these 90s? It's going to be Office Space.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Office Space, to me, when I saw that, I have a friend who acted just like the lead character. And I said, this is his movie. This is him. And so he watched, he goes, that is me. And I was like, it was a but everything about that movie is fantastic. It's still quoted today. In fact, the place I work at, we do training. We do a lot of training in there. One of the questions, the throwaway red herring answers, is TPS reports.
Yes.
Like, what do you need to add to every mortgage doc? And question
Did you make
number
that
D,
up?
I did not. Someone else in design made it up.
Yes.
But you can tell Office Space's impact is everywhere.
Well, it nailed it. Like, it nailed. If anybody out there has ever worked in an office environment, that movie nailed it. Like, the characters in that movie, those people are real people. Like, the boss is real. That the crazy mumbler, be my stapler. Like, there's always the nerdy lady, the overbearing lady, the
Michael Bolton. But let me ask this: does anyone in your office say it sounds like a case of the Mondays?
No,
man. I believe someone get their ass whooped for that. You know, I mean, that's just hilarious. And then,
I know.
I love it when he comes home from his day of work and he hears on the wall, "Hey man, turn to channel 13" or whatever it was.
Yeah,
He's like,
they're just fantastic.
"Don't talk through the wall, just come over."
Yeah.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
There's so many. There's so many
Not
good
gonna,
lines.
not
Whenever
gonna,
you see a stapler.
not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah, not gonna work anymore. Michael Bolton?
Yeah, no talent ass clown.
Yeah, why should I change? Why should, no, I don't go by Mike or what? You know, I'm the one. He's the one who sucks. Why should I change?
Jump to conclusion, Matt. I mean, there's so many. How many pieces of flair? You see, Donnie over there has 15 pieces of flair and a winning smile to go with it.
That's great. And I always just talked about office stuff, but that's good. I mean, the parts with Jennifer Aniston in the restaurant, they nail that stuff too.
It's
So
fantastic.
it's really all about like bosses and oppressive workplaces and stuff like that. So
yeah, there's nothing.
Oh, now that.
There is nothing. But first off, it's probably one of the most quotable movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
My O face. Oh.
I know.
Oh.
And the thing is, when was the last time you saw it?
I actually probably watched it about 3 years ago.
Oh,
maybe.
you did?
Yeah.
Okay, you have seen it recently, have you?
It's been about a year.
Oh, wow, okay.
It came on TV. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's been. I don't watch TV movies. They're not as good. But,
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, it's been a long time for me. I have it. I own it in my collection. But it's still,
You still
the
remember
most
it.
quoted. You remember everything.
Yeah.
I quoted it the other day. As a matter of fact, I was driving to work and I was like, man, what if I'm still doing this when I'm 50?
And you know what? One of my favorite parts of the movie is it's the difference in between races and the way that people like view each other, because being a white guy, like every white guy I know has done this, where like you got on a rap song and you're singing it, and then like you see like a black guy or somebody else like in the next car or on the street or something, and it's like you turn down the radio a little bit, you're kind of like mumbling to yourself, and then whenever they leave, it's like you turn it back over and start singing again.
Yeah.
Everybody I know has done that.
There you go. That's why it hit the vein of the culture right at that point. And still today, and that's why it's timeless. I think it's timeless too.
I agree. Great movie.
All right, number 4.
Number 4 on my list is Friday.
Oh, that's a good one.
Friday
That is a good one.
Friday is one of the most quotable movies, and it came out in '95, and I think most of these movies on my list kind of are in that pocket of right whenever I was a teenager, which is kind of funny, like right when I was in high school. So, I love Friday. Like Friday makes me laugh, like from beginning to end. Like it's. I know. I probably could watch that movie and tell you every stinking line that's about to happen. And I don't know, like growing up in Bastrop, like, you know, me and my friends, like being these nerdy little white kids, like, you know, just being exposed to like that type of culture, we were like, yes, that is so funny, that is so great, we love this.
I love Friday so much that I went and saw Next Friday and Friday After Next in the theater.
And both of those were just
they were horrible.
No,
they were horrible.
Some of it was there was no Chris Tucker, yes, but a lot of it was just they were just different. There was a different feel to those movies.
They didn't have the original feel that Friday did. I agree.
Like that movie, it's kind of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is another great comedy. But that movie does a good job of taking you through that entire day, and you really do feel like you spent an entire Friday with these guys.
Day, yeah.
That's true.
You know, in their neighborhood. Like it does a good job of putting you there.
Exactly, and that I think that's where Next Friday and After Next Friday help, because it feels too much like a movie instead of you just being there.
Right.
You're not sitting there on the porch with
you go watch that movie again.
And that was the beauty about Ferris Bueller's Day Off too, is that like they did a lot of things like they did on Friday, but you really felt like you just spent the day with these characters as opposed to going from one joke to the next joke to the next joke.
Which is what the other ones.
But the script and I say script. Who knows that a lot of that stuff is probably ad lib. But just the way that movie. I mean, how the hell are you gonna get fired on your day off? What you do is stealing boxes. You trying to make a clubhouse? Like, would you start? Like, there's the little things that I love about that. I'm here to get my bike back. What bike? The beach cruiser, the one I loaned you a few weeks ago. Oh yeah, that bike. And then he punches him. That's my bike, punk. And then
so good.
I love it. Love it.
Good one.
I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, you do.
It's been
a minute.
What is your number 4?
Number 4 is Death at a Funeral.
Which one? The original one or
the original? The
British one?
Yeah, the British.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
I've never seen the original, but I watched the new one, and I thought the new one was
kind
of funny.
What was the original one that made it so good?
Well, if you've seen the new one, it's basically the same premise. It was kind of like one of those instances where you had The Office, and then it came over to America, and you had an American version. That's the American version. Death at a Funeral was first, the British one. So it's got these. So it has these two brothers. Who one is kind of gone to be like a success, and the other one's kind of struggling to find his way. Their father dies, so they have to go back home, and they hold his funeral at their old family home. And he's the eldest, which is the one that's struggling to find his place and everything, is the one that's been asked to write the eulogy. So he's the whole time trying to figure out what he's going to say, how he's going to talk about his father and everything. But during this movie, you're seeing these weird things that his father did, in their life that they had no idea. And these weird people start showing up, and then the family has all these weird problems. And it's just, it's hilarious. It's one of those movies that kind of like, it's a domino effect. It's funny, but then it gets funnier, and it gets funnier, and it gets funnier, and funnier. And it gets funnier as it gets more serious. But it's great, and there's the relatives that show up to this funeral. I guarantee you have a relative just like one of these guys.
So it's kind of like a Christmas Vacation, except done around a funeral.
You know what? I think that's a fair.
Would that be a fair comparison?
Yeah, that's a fair comparison.
All right.
Yeah, and the best thing is him trying to figure out how he's going to write his dad's eulogy, and all these strange things from his dad's past keep coming up, and he's like, what?
All right, good pick.
Thank you, sir.
My number 4 is an extremely funny movie, another quotable movie. It's The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
and
that's my number 1.
I got your number 1.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski.
You want to talk about quotable movies?
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
In fact, does Jeff Bridges have a better role that he's starting? Because he's a great actor.
He's a
who has
fantastic
done some
actor.
fantastic roles. But in my mind, he will always be the dude.
He is the dude. He is. He is the duder. His dudeness. He is the dude.
The thing is, that movie, the ads for it were confusing. I didn't know if I wanted to see it or not. I had a feeling I wanted to, but my friends saw it. And these friends said, oh no, it was stupid. So I didn't watch it in theaters. And then I said, you know what, I really want to see that movie though. I just want to see it. It looks so interesting. So I rented it on VHS back in the old Blockbuster days. And I was so mad. I was like, this movie is probably the best movie I've ever seen. And I went out and bought it that night.
Yeah.
I just went back to Blockbuster and bought one off the shelf. Big Lebowski just has it's smart humor. It's the odd humor, but not too odd to where it loses you. You know?
Because it borders on that line of odd when Sam Ellington shows up as the cowboy and orders one of them sarsaparillas.
Yeah, but like I love
it's
that.
great. That's what I'm saying. Like it's right on that border of like odd, but it's great.
They found that balance because you can go like, for instance, we talked last week about Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
And they had that odd type of humor that you love too. Back when Master Shake thinks the school bus is a vampire.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Makes no sense, but hilarious. But then they started going off too much into the odd and not funny. And then in my opinion, they lost that balance. But Big Lebowski keeps that balance. And it's so funny. Just things that you just go, whoa, what?
Yeah.
And you start laughing, when Steve Buscemi, Donnie says, Walter, are these people dangerous? No, Donnie, they're nihilists.
Yeah, these men are cowards, Donnie.
These men are cowards.
Yeah, when they go to when they're trying to figure out who stole the car and they get the paper for that kid and he stonewalls them and he just beats that Corvette with that.
By the way, John Goodman is
he's the best in that movie.
Also at his best.
Oh my God!
Movie.
No, John Goodman nails it in that movie.
There is over the line. Yeah. How many times when I go bowling? Over the line! I think I have quoted that just about every time I go bowling. Any of those bowling scenes.
Well, it's one of the few quotes you can actually quote without a 4-letter word. word. That's the thing about that movie. Yes, it's quotable, but
We're
most
not
of
gonna.
them.
Shima Shabbos.
Yeah. Shomer Shabbos.
This is
And I do not roll on Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah, that is so funny. It's such a great movie. Everything about that movie.
All right, number 3 for me. America.
Yeah. Can I say it?
No.
Okay.
Yes, we're talking about funniest movies of all time. Team America, World Police, just busts my gut. It's a gut buster.
Oh my
I
God.
laughed harder in that movie than I probably have laughed at any other movie I've ever seen. Like,
You can't help it.
No, it is the most brilliant movie I might have ever watched. Like, it's I love Trey Parker, Matt Stone, so the content is
Right.
great. All right, the social commentary on America, always trying to like police everybody, is just wonderful.
Yes.
And then Hollywood, you know, being liberal and trying to stop them and yada yada yada. Matt Damon. All right, take all that out of it. When you look at it from strictly like a production point, like A, who has ever done a movie with just marionette puppets like that? Like nobody in like 60 years. B,
Yeah, besides Thunderbirds or Go.
yeah, and to make it that good, to make it like that in depth, like it looks cheesy at the naked eye, but whenever you really look at the scenes, they put a lot of work
They really
and a
did.
lot of artistic value
course
into
they did.
like that whole like Panama Canal break-in scene, like all the water, like everything that they did to make that funny. To make it realistic, it's got more artistic value in it than, and so many people threw that movie away as just being dumb. But gosh, like.
But then there's parts where they make fun of the fact that you use puppets, like when they're like, "Hey, you
Sure.
want to dance?" and they're
Yeah.
like doing these like
Yeah.
terrible puppet moves, and they're just like falling
But
around.
so, like Trey Parker knows how to make like that self-aware type comedy. Like he'll pick nobody, like we talked about South Park. Nobody is off limits with them, even themselves, and that's what makes them
Right.
brilliant.
That's right.
But I mean, there's one scene in that movie, and it's that epic puke scene outside the bar that I believe I've laughed harder at that scene than probably any scene in any movie ever.
Wow.
Ever.
That's a good one. I laughed until I got a headache and I had to turn it off.
It's just, I mean, all the songs, all the musicals, everyone has AIDS. And then even Rocky had a montage. You always fade out. It's just so great. The Pearl Harbor song. Pearl Harbor sucks.
Yep.
And I miss you. Like, and then that whole puppet sex scene, like that whole I mean, they nailed they nailed those type of cheesy movies where the two characters have like this big long conversation at the end, and the guy has to say something to get the girl in bed, and it's that, I promise you, I will never die.
Yep.
Good number 3. Number 3. CJ, go ahead.
It's gonna be Mallrats.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that
Kid
kid
is back on the escalator. No. I hope he gets caught
Why
in a
can't I
bloodbath
see
and
this
sues.
sailboat?
Yeah.
It's not a scooter is a sailboat, stupid. You know what? That guy down the way, it's not really the Easter Bunny, it's a guy in a suit!
Fantastic.
Brenda?
Oh, mercy.
they used to call her,
Trish the Dish?
Trish the Dish.
Nobody calls
me that.
That's my I told you this. That's my brother's favorite line in the movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
He thinks that's so funny.
What, like in the back of a Volkswagen?
You
I
know
love
what?
that running joke.
Yes.
The thing about, I got to see Jeremy London actually this year.
Really?
Really? I
Yes,
didn't know
he was at the Pensacon. And he was signing Mallrats autographs and everything.
Dang!
But the thing is, though, to be honest, that one gets a lot of hate from Kevin Smith fans because it's a little bit more campier than his other ones. But to be honest, I'm in the same boat as you. I think that's his best.
I love Clerks.
Mallrats
Don't get me wrong.
hilarious.
I think Clerks was
No, it's funny
I think
too.
Mallrats is much better than Clerks. Here's the problem that I have is that Chasing Amy is really good. Like there's just
It's
two
not
different.
a comedy though. I don't think
Yeah.
it's
There's
that
two.
big of a
That's what I was about to
comedy.
say. There are two different movies.
Chasing
like
Amy gets dark.
And I think Chasing Amy is just as brilliant as Mallrats, but
But-
Mallrats is straight like.
But mainstream Kevin Smith fans, that's their least favorite is Mallrats, and that's my favorite.
Right.
What I liked about Mallrats is we talked about Friday. You feel like you've spent a whole day with these characters. Mallrats, you feel like you've spent a whole
and it
day
came out
with
at
Brody.
a perfect time. And
And TS.
When everyone was hanging hanging out at
Right.
the mall. Everyone was a mall rat.
Right.
Everyone got it
agree.
at Gadzooks.
And they made and they hit all the people that you see in the mall, the Easter Bunny, the security guard, you know,
LaForce,
yeah,
LaForce, whatever his name was.
LaFleur.
What? Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Oh,
That's
God.
fantastic.
That movie, I love it. It starts in the beginning. So this one time, my cousin, it was in the beginning. My cousin Walter got this hamster, this gerbil. stuck
Well,
in
that's the thing. You know, they have. It's funny because you say that now, but two of the guys, you tell them Steve Dave.
Yeah, Steve Dave.
They're on Comic Book Men now.
Yeah,
those are the main characters. Comic
Walt.
They have been around. Walt Flanagan.
Yeah, they're
who they
friends
make a
with,
joke about, and Steve Dave, who is on the show too. Brian.
Yeah.
Is on that show too.
That's a great
show. Of course,
show, by
Brian
the way.
looks completely different now.
Yeah.
Than he did on the TV movie. But they have always been friends with Kevin Smith.
Tell him, Steve Dave.
It's like us. Like if we whenever we write shows or if we would write a movie, like we would do that. Like they've been friends for a long, long time.
Right. My number 3 is going to be Major Payne.
Okay.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah. That's
Damon
a great
Wayne.
one.
All right, let me just tell you this. I pass that up in the comedy section all the time.
As well, you probably
in Blockbuster.
should have.
Yes. Then a bunch of the girls go, "Oh, this looks funny." No, it looks stupid. You even read the back of it. You know, military camp. The kids get back at their teacher. Oh, face palm here.
How many times have you seen that?
A million now. But
Yeah.
when they rented it though, I was upset that I got outvoted. I did not want to see it. Of course, I didn't want to be accused of being a party pooper either and going to my room. Go to your room. You know, so I sat there on the couch, arms crossed, you know, ticked off because we wasted money on this movie, and then went out and bought it when we returned the movie. I was shocked at how good that movie is, and still is good today. In fact, Damon Wayne is a funny character, as you know, in Living Color.
Oh yeah.
But to be honest, Major Payne to me is the funniest he's ever been.
Well, you know, he was kind of popular there, in the early to mid '90s, and then he just kind of fell off. But
Well, he does a lot of directing now.
yeah,
He doesn't do as much acting. But the thing is, though, if he was to resurrect Major Payne character and bring him back for another movie, I would be there. Because there is everything about that movie. And it should. The thing is, I mean, the kids do all the stupid stuff like they would. The constipation medicine on the cupcake.
yeah.
It's a poop joke. But it's funny because that little kid who just passes out when he passes, and that little kid just passes out. Dude, it's so
I think that's what
funny.
made that funny to me is that
What you laughing at, pig boy? You find a piece of candy in your pocket? I'm going to give you room for dinner. Drop down, give me 25!
Chugga.
One, piggy, two, piggy.
It had a little bit of edge to it, and that's what made it funny, especially to like us at the time who were teenagers. Like those type of movies, usually you see those, and since they're dealing with kids, they kind of have softer edges to them as not to offend anybody. Well, that one wasn't like full blown like dirty, but it had a little bit of an edge to where it made you as a teenager laugh because he picked on those kids and like he was mean to those kids.
You gotta remember, I was in college back then because it had been years since this movie had come out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw
I
it
mean,
because it came out in '95, so I saw it when I was in high school. But yeah, like he was. It wasn't like a soft Disney movie with kids, like Heavyweights or something like that. Like it.
Right, but like you said, we'd seen a million types of these movies before, and they're all just stupid.
Right.
And I even knew that back in the day, But the thing is, though, and that's why I didn't want to get Major Payne. And when we got Major Payne, I was like, I guess you're right, the edge, but the acting, he's just really funny.
Yeah, he is. And if you would like a little trivia here, I know you know this,
Go
but
ahead,
just for all the listeners out there, Major Payne was directed by a man named Nick Castle. Nick Castle was the actor who played the original Michael Myers in the original Halloween.
Yeah.
And he just went by the name The Shape, or AKA the Boogeyman. So he was the guy in the suit, and he turned around and directed
the original Michael Myers.
He actually directed The Last Starfighter as well, and he directed.
That's why he's probably
Major
one
Payne.
of my favorite directors too.
Yeah.
I love him. He makes a good film.
Yeah.
He makes a good film.
And he makes the best Boogeyman.
He does. He does. It was good. All right. So what is number 2?
Number 2 on my list is, out of all the movies that we've named, and even more than my number 1, This movie, to me, is the most quotable movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
I still quote it to this day all the time, and it's Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
Dumb and Dumber is, without a doubt, one of the funniest comedies you will ever see in your entire
I'm so
life.
glad somebody has to.
It's extreme. I'm glad they do too.
Yeah.
It's on my honorable mention.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it's Jim Carrey at his best, but it was also the Farrelly brothers at their best. You know, like they had a string of great hits in the '90s, and then they have kind of fallen off a little bit. I mean, Something About Mary was probably their biggest, like maybe breakout hit, if you will. But Dumb and Dumber was 3 years earlier, and I think it's much better. Like,
Yeah. Without a doubt.
It
Without
is
a doubt.
fantastic because it was smart. It was smart comedy.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird
That's
to
what it
say,
For a
considering
movie
that
called
movie.
Dumb and Dumber.
Right.
Samsonite.
I was so.
Well, what was smart about it was like, hey, the way that they structured the movie and the way that they directed it was good because it's the soundtrack to that movie is great.
Oh, it
like,
is.
They really utilized '90s music to
know
move that story along.
Yeah.
Every single one of my friends,
Yeah.
including myself, had the soundtrack.
The Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that Maggie Moo.
Oh, Maggie Moon, man. Yeah.
She's a vegetarian. Whatever.
Maggie Moon, Maggie Moon.
Like it's so okay. So you get that out of the way.
It's called.
But what was smart about them was that they allowed the two main actors to do what they do best. And I mean, everybody that knows me knows how much I love Jim Carrey. Like, it's no secret. I love Jim Carrey. The brilliant part of that movie is Jeff Bridges. Like, Jeff Daniels. I'm sorry, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
I was talking about Bridges
We're
earlier.
talking about Big Lebowski. Yeah.
No, if you're paired with Jim Carrey, he's going to overshadow everybody. He does not overshadow Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels creates almost an even better character than Lloyd Christmas. Like, he actually seems dumb, you know? Like, it's a great compliment to him, and I think that's what made it work, was that it wasn't just Jim Carrey and this other guy hanging around. Like, a lot of this movie is me laughing at Harry and the stupid things that he does and how well he compliments
The thing about
Jim
Jeff
Carrey.
Daniels is he really picks up on subtle humor. That thing with his eye.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you go back and you watch when he's got his eye crooked like every shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's him. He does that.
He's
got a special face. He's got a special face for that character.
I love
some kind of interview.
I love this. I've watched that movie so many times that it's the little things that make me laugh. The scene whenever they go into the benefit and they're wearing the tuxedos, like everybody loves that scene. I love but my favorite part of that scene is whenever he whacks him across the back whenever he's walking in, like, for no reason. And then the conversation they have when they're sitting over there at the bar and he's like, hey, you want to go over here or whatever? And he's like, no, I'm just going to sit over here at the bar. Sitting out the vibe. I love that part. And then in the next scene, like, you just see him, like, with his hip half cocked out. And then when he gets tired on that leg, he just turns around, cocks out the other hip. It's just these subtle, like, brilliant things. And you know who else loves that? Our former sponsor, Mark Addison. Mark Addison loves Dumb and Dumber.
Well, what about our sponsor right now, who is Stepdaddy? Hey, folks. Want to try to find a laddie? Call your stepdaddy.
If you're tired of schlepping around your golf clubs, get the best caddy, John Stepdaddy.
Wow.
If you're a fatty, stepdaddy.
Yeah! Enough said.
Dumb and Dumber, like, we just have to button the Dumb and Dumber talk, because I will talk about it all day long.
Okay.
Like, it's just...
Then one question here, and then we can move on. But, another movie came out this past year, Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh, I watched it.
And
it was horrible.
Number 2 is Pineapple Express. You guys probably won't agree with this one.
I like that movie a lot.
I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen Pineapple
I
Express?
haven't seen. I want to.
I
saw the sequel from This Is the End, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
Oh,
that
that
movie's
movie's funny. My God.
Before you go any further, y'all, I love Pineapple Express so much that that's the only time I've ever enjoyed Danny McBride. And you know how much it hurts me to say that. Like, it pains me to say that. But Danny McBride was funny in Pineapple Express.
I love Danny McBride.
I do too. Look, and that movie's got some of my favorite quotes too. Did it gonna be cold tonight, asshole? I love that.
James Franco's character is great.
It's fantastic. And
great.
And see, you go soft. I knew you go soft. I seen you rip a man's jawbone right out his head. I seen it. It was just, oh my God. And then he's wearing like his Nike throwbacks. And then you got, oh my God, wait, hold on. Gary Cole, that's his name. Gary Cole, the big drug lord or whatever. Has anyone seen my big knife? And he's got this huge machete.
All right, well, my number 2 is another very quotable film. It's got to be up there for me. It's Princess Bride.
Yes.
It's just so classic.
It is classic.
And there's just so many good things. And Andre the Giant, honestly,
stole that show.
For a wrestler, is one of the best actors to ever cross over. The Rock would be even with Andre the Giant, in my opinion, because I know Andre the Giant didn't do much. But that movie, he did a great job.
You didn't like Suburban Commando?
Oh, Suburban Commando. You're out of your mind. That movie was awesome.
Moving on.
I was frozen today!
You didn't like Surf Ninjas with Hulk Hogan?
What about Thunder in Paradise? One of the best TV shows of all time.
No. If it starred Andre, but I mean, honestly, the whole thing, Cary Elwes is just, his timing is just impeccable. He's so funny. He's such a funny guy, period. Billy Crystal, I mean, you can't go wrong there.
That movie is brilliant, just the way that it's told. I mean, telling a child a storybook, and then it allowed the characters and the actors to be larger than life, and
it makes perfect sense.
And it makes perfect sense.
And you're not going, oh, this is a little cheesy here, because that's what the kids say. Is this the mushy scene? Can we just read over the mush?
Right.
It's just, but Fred Savage, you know,
good.
At top of his game back then.
Do you think that's the best Fred Savage movie of all time?
Well, would you call it a Fred Savage movie?
Yeah,
he was in it.
He was in it, so it's a Fred Savage movie.
Sure, then I guess. Because
so you're saying Little Monsters is not as good?
I'm saying that if you're calling that a Fred Savage movie, then I will say Princess Bride is the best, because I love Princess Bride. I think it's fantastic, and it's very quotable too. And now there are other movies, and I really hope I'm not stepping on your number 1, but I doubt this is it. But Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Very
not stepping on my number 1 through 100.
Very quotable, but in my opinion, not as good, not as enjoyable to watch. Very quotable and very funny, but not as enjoyable to watch.
And probably the most quotable line from the entire movie, which is still said to this day, and it's on like every T-shirt, you know. My name is Inigo Montoya.
Of course.
You killed my father.
Prepared to die.
Prepared to die.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic. They redo that movie, they're going to put Borat in that role.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, God.
You killed my father. Prepared to die.
Yeah.
You know what? High five.
I just put 2 and 2 together, and I realized that that's my guy.
That's
your
my
Borat
guy.
impression.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
That's him right there.
That's him right there.
That's right.
Very nice.
Oh, look, I have a chair. King of the Castle.
Oh,
King of the Castle.
you do that.
All right, what is number 1, Mikey?
Well, we're gonna flip the script here, because I've talked about this movie before, so I'm not going to talk about it. But pound for pound, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is probably like my funniest favorite movie of all time. Like it just never gets old to me. Like it's so quotable. Like I could talk about it for a million years. But I'm going to put a different number 1 on this particular list, just because most of the movies I've talked about are a specific type of humor. You know, and you talk about Fish Called Wanda, you talk about Princess Bride. There's one movie out there that is a comedy, but it hits you right in the feels. You know, like it's just a higher class of comedy, and it's brilliant filmmaking.
Designing Women?
It is not Designing Women, the movie, starring Meshach Taylor.
Hello.
And it's not Mannequin, or Mannequin 2 on the Move.
Or Love Potion number 9?
Or Weekend at Bernie's 1 or 2.
Okay.
Which are kind of funny. The name of this movie is simply Big.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a great number 1.
That movie makes me so happy. And I know it's a different type of comedy. It's kind of got a little bit of drama in there, but when you really look at it, it was a vehicle for Tom Hanks to, you know, be a big kid.
80s Tom Hanks is the best.
Yeah. And it was directed by Penny Marshall, who was in Laverne and Shirley, who went on to direct League of Their Own with Tom Hanks as well. But there's just something about Big that just makes you happy. Like, as an overall story, like, when that movie came out, I was 9. So, like, as most of my stuff, like, it comes from a different place inside of me. I know what it's like to be that, and we all know what it's like to be that kid. Like, you know, you're a little kid and you go to the fair and you want to hang out with the older kids and you want to impress the girls and you can't get on the ride because you're not big enough. And the Zoltar machine, which is really creepy still to this day. Yeah. And I got a chance to see a real Zoltar machine when I was in Austin.
Oh, cool.
And it's pretty creepy. I did not mess with it at all. I didn't. But it has like those kind of Mona Lisa eyes, though. They kind of follow you like everywhere you go.
It's bizarre, dude.
So yeah, and then like whenever he changes, just that whole like discovery and that discovery of being like an adult and still having that, but it's a good like lesson in life really, because they put all these businessmen in there and these adults, and it just shows you how like whenever you get older, if you lose the kid that's inside of you, then you're dead. You've already lost the battle. Like you have to, and how he gets everything in life just because he still sees the world through the eyes of a kid. And I love that lesson, and it's got these wonderful heartfelt moments, like whenever he calls his mom to tell his mom that his kid is all right, and then he sings the song to her over the phone, and she starts crying, and he has to, and then like the relationship with Elizabeth Perkins, who's like super cute and fine. I love his loft, like as a kid, who wouldn't want that? He'd have the bunk beds and then the trampoline inside, the loft, and you're bouncing up and down. And it's such a cool little scene too, whenever they go to sleep and they put on the matching PJs, and like he's like, I got top, I'm gonna be on top, and like it's written in such a way to where she's thinking that it's other things, but he's not. Yeah. He doesn't see it that way, and the whole script is like that. And then he's like, I got something for you. Pick which hand, And he has his hands, and nope, not that hand. And it's like a little like ring popper, ring thing or whatever. I adore that movie. Like it makes me happy. It makes me smile. It's a different type of humor, but it's that classic humor. And you want to talk about one of the most iconic scenes in movie history? Yep. Him and Robert Loggia on the piano. Doing the feet piano, the chopsticks. Everybody in this world knows chopsticks because of that movie.
That's right.
Yeah. I can't get over it. Like I can't. I'm gleaming. If you could see my eyes right now.
Because of Robert Loggia.
I love that movie. And the shimmy shimmy cocoa pop, shimmy 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 cocoa pop, shimmy shimmy something Triscuit, a Triscuit, a Triscuit. Y'all remember that? Ice cream soda pop, vanilla on top. Ooh, Shalita walking down the street. That's all my mama's credit.
I think I don't know.
Sock me in the stomach 3 more times.
Wow.
It's just a beautiful story, and then at the end they go back to that. He goes back to his best friend.
I know.
That's just.
It's a great movie.
What's your number one?
All right, number one. I cannot move from this. It's Big Lebowski, but I can put another one up there that I love as much. The Mask.
Yeah,
I love The Mask.
There's a lot of Jim Carrey being thrown around there.
Of course, there would be.
You have to.
It's funny that Adam Sandler didn't name a single one of his own movies.
Well, I got 2 Adam Sandlers on my honorable mentions.
Okay. Yeah, I've got honorable mentions for Adam Sandler too. But no, it's I love The Mask. I wore out the cassette tape, literally. I watched it so many times. That and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. I wore out the cassette. Couldn't watch it anymore. I had to go buy another one.
Yeah.
I watched it just ad nauseum. And then it had the, kind of going back to our last podcast, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, the little interview at the end with Jim Carrey.
Of course.
You know what's great about Jim Carrey, though? Like, he just exploded on the scene. Like, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask all came out in 1994.
It did.
Like, can you imagine that?
He was a busy guy.
Yeah, and those are, like, really his first, like, major movies. I mean, he'd been in a lot of stuff for a couple years before then, bit roles and trying to get his way. But yeah, like for those 3 to be your major breakout movies all in 1 year, like that's nutsoid. And they all 3 were different types of humor. I mean, they were still Jim Carrey, but The Mask, like nobody could do that role like him.
No one.
Like, it was
no one. That's why he was the first $20 million man.
He was, yeah. Tell us why you love The Mask without talking about Cameron Diaz.
Can
you
impossible.
do it?
That's impossible.
I can. That movie is the reason I wanted to do theater.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
I thought he was about to say that movie is the reason I want to do Cameron Diaz.
That too.
I thought after saying, no, I can do this. That movie is the reason I wanted to do Cameron Diaz. Oh, damn it. I thought that's what you were going to say.
That would have been funny. There's another reason, though.
Nobody could do that role like him. Like, that was a live-action cartoon come to life. Like, that was just incredible.
He's the best.
And a couple years ago, whenever we did the first show that I ever directed, the I Love Lucy show, when Matt played Ricky Ricardo, we used the Cuban Pete cut from that movie.
Yeah, we did.
Because I like that cut better because it was more upbeat and lively, and it was shorter.
Fantastic.
They call me Cuban Pete.
I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I shake the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Honorable mentions on my list. We'll just go through the rest of the top 10. Number 6, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Gosh.
Love that movie.
It's a great subtle humor.
Love everything about that movie.
I do too.
There is not a bad thing I can say about that movie. I was really hoping it would be on someone else's top 5. It deserves a top 5. Folks, if it's on your top 5, please let me know because it does deserve to be up there.
Yeah, why don't
there's just so many good
we
ones.
need some top 5 from our listeners.
Yes, we do.
That is a great movie, and I wasn't expecting much from that movie either when I saw it. But from minute 2, I was hooked.
My brother called me on a Thursday night and said, "Go, when? Go now." I went, "Now?" Yes, you've got to go now. I was like, all right. So I was the only one in the theater on a Thursday night. No one cared about it. And I laughed the entire time. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Kip, I love the way Kip just kind of whispered.
Gonna go out in the middle of nowhere on some of these, but Run, Ronnie, Run.
Oh, yeah.
You know Run, Ronnie,
Run. I do, yeah.
David Cross.
Damn. It's double damn. I can't say most of the great lines from that. Ronnie Dobbs!
Yeah,
I got a new pair of shoes!
That is hilarious. Jeff Goldblum's appearance.
Oh, yes.
And it is
I love Mr. Show. I love that character.
That's a character from Mr. Show that they made.
They
made his own movie in there, and it is hilarious. Let me just say this. If you like David Spade's Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
Ronnie Run is better.
And Joe Dirt is great, by the way.
Joe Dirt is great, but Ronnie Run. Anyway, number 8 for me would have been Knocked Up.
That's a good one.
I thought that movie was so funny. Another movie that I cried laughing at.
Lonnie, do you have pink eye? No. I'm just really high.
You would get bogus right now if the missus were in here.
A bogus on that one?
Remember she bogus him? She hated Knocked Up.
Oh, yeah, I love Knocked Up. I thought it was great. Number 9 is a tie between Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men.
Great.
Oh, man.
Honestly.
I have to go with Grumpy Old Men.
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, fantastic actors. Their entire career, honestly. But here they are in the twilight years and still cranking out home runs. Meredith Burgess, who that was one of his last films, Grumpier Old Men. He was suffering so hard from Alzheimer's, they just let him say whatever. But the thing is, though, he's fantastic. Everyone is fantastic in that movie, and both of them are. I bought them both. I bought the 2-in-1 pack. I was like, "Yep, we'll do that." And love those movies.
That's a bargain.
Love those movies.
I am Matt, like just at Target or whatever,
I am an old man.
Yeah,
when it comes to that.
That sure is a deal.
He's got in some toothpaste and maybe some toilet paper, and he's in that line there in one of those impulse
DVD
bins there. Yeah,
I'm getting an impulse buy there.
Just, the line is long. And
he's like sitting there. He's like, not gonna get me today.
Yeah, Under Siege. No. Like, what is this copy? Emilio Estevez movie.
That's
no.
Right.
Wait. Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men? Yep, we'll do that.
That's done.
That's a bargain. That's a bargain.
That's a bargain.
And my last one is an Australian film called The Castle. Folks, if you don't know about The Castle and it's somehow on Netflix or something, it's worth your time. It's Australian. It's a little foreign, but it is hilarious. It's got this kind of unique comedy that some of these old British films do a little bit. But it's so funny. It's kind of got a little Big Lebowski vibe, to be honest with you, too. It does.
Okay.
The main story plot is a little odd.
Okay.
But other than that, it's a fantastic film. My parents, we watch this show, maybe once a year, if not every other year, and we laugh just as hard the first time. It's just a fantastic and a very quotable movie. I'll just give you one. This podcast is going straight to the pool room, folks. There you go. If you saw The Castle, you'd laugh. All right, so go ahead, Mikey. Give me your honorable mentions.
There's probably just too many to name, but the few that I have on my little short list here. Anyway, Blazing Saddles is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
I had that on my list too, but I moved it up.
It's a different type of comedy, and it's a type of comedy that movie could not be made today. I know we've talked about that off air a bunch of times. I mean, it is so racially charged. It's so insensitive. It's
Mel Brooks at his best.
But it's Mel Brooks at his best.
It's absolute best.
Here's the funny thing about that movie is that I love and this is the reason why I like comedy, because comedy can still. If you're a true comedian, you can still get away with anything, and people will still look at it as art, because that movie is so it could not be made today because of all the stuff that they say in that movie, especially in between whites and blacks and the way they pick on black people and that sort of thing. But what I love about this movie is that even today, when people still re-review this movie, they don't knock it for being that way. They see it for what it is, and these people, the same critics that if that movie came out today would bash it and say you can't use the N-word, you can't do that, still love this movie.
Still love that movie. It's a great movie.
Because they realized what it was. You know, they realized that it wasn't like done for shock value, and it wasn't done to berate anybody. It's really picking on itself. Like, it's all social commentary.
And it picks on Hollywood more than anything.
Yeah, picking on Hollywood, picking on like how stupid that stuff is, and you know, but that has some of the best performances. I mean, Cleavon Little was great, and
piss on you. I'm
Gene Wilder. I mean, like Gene Wilder.
Madeline Kahn.
Gene Wilder. Well,
Madeline Kahn
at one of his best. Gene Wilder's a fantastic actor.
He is.
Madeline Kahn makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, like Young Frankenstein and Clue. Like, she's such a
when
wonderful.
She's singing, like as the I'm so tired.
She gets it, man. She gets it.
She does. She does.
She gets it. Anyway, so yeah, Blazing Saddles is tremendous. The original National Lampoon's Vacation is one of the funniest movies ever. Like, every time I watch that movie, just the whole trip to Wally World, these are all classic humor, but it's Chevy Chase at his best. And
I agree.
By the by, we were wrong. We were dead wrong. That new Vacation movie is going to suck hard.
Oh,
wait,
why?
Have you not seen the extended preview?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's not about the Griswolds. It's all about Rusty taking his family.
Right.
But Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo just show up like in a scene and then they're done.
What? Yeah.
Like, it's like
I knew it was about Rusty.
Yeah, but it looks horrible. Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, Adam Sandler.
They are great.
I put those as a package deal, but oh my God, they are great.
They are both
Shampoo is better because it cleans the hair.
Conditioner is better because I leave it shiny and clean.
Silky and smooth.
Silky and smooth, that's what it is.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Fantastic.
Nudie Magazine Day. Nudie Magazine Day. Yeah. Billy passed the 3rd grade. Oh, what a glorious day. Whoa, passing 3rd grade. The Billy Madison way.
I just want to say, the Madison, the Happy Gilmore Productions or whatever,
Happy Madison
Productions there, besides Adam Sandler, Dirty Work by Norm Macdonald.
It's a funny movie.
It's actually worth your time.
It is good.
That is actually a really good movie.
Agree.
In fact, I found out that my dad is a huge Norm Macdonald fan.
Really?
Thinks that everything Norm Macdonald does is really funny. Norm Macdonald, to me, is hilarious. He's the only person on Saturday Night Live. I agree with Chevy Chase here. Chevy Chase said the only person to do the news show just as good as him was Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald, absolutely.
And Norm Macdonald delivered it. And I think what was it? Kevin Nealon and Dennis Miller. I think they all did a good job. Seth Meyers.
Yep.
I think they all did a good job. But to me, Norm Macdonald did the best. No one delivered it better.
Norm Macdonald has this way about his humor that just it doesn't. It's almost like he's saying it like it's not funny, but it's really funny.
Like, this movie, you want to talk about one of the best movies of the 80s. You want to talk about one of the best comedies ever. I want to say that this movie was rated number 1 or 2 or 3 on the best comedies of all time. And that's Tootsie.
Never saw it.
You've never seen it either?
No, I don't think so. It sounds familiar.
Oh, it's Dustin Hoffman.
It's Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, if you want to see a absolutely brilliant performance from an actor, brilliant, like, it will make you want to drop everything you're doing in your life and go and study acting more to become a good actor. Like, Dustin Hoffman is it. Like, Dustin Hoffman kind of almost plays himself a little bit. At the first part, like, he's this actor that's, you know, kind of hard to work with. But Dustin Hoffman is, like, notoriously very difficult to work with. So his character's like that, and then they find a way for him to be able to be on a soap opera and play a woman, and it's indistinguishable. Like you believe him so much as this woman. Like, it's not a caricature of a woman. Like, this is an actor who spent time honing his craft to become a woman, and it's unreal. It's unreal. Like, it's fantastic, and it has a great ending and a great comeuppance at the end.
All right, I'll give my last real brief. Orange County, starring Colin Hanks and Jack Black.
Yeah.
Love that one.
Ah, we didn't mention a Jack Black film. Okay.
Jack Black's another one of my favorites.
He's good.
That's quotable too. He's like, man, people have. It was when he's riding that Bronco, driving Colin Hanks to Yale or whatever. He's like, man, people have just ripping me off, you know? Because I got ideas, man, like a shirt, like a shirt, stupid, or a hat, like a big old hat. They go, I mean, he's just he's funny. Blazing Saddles, you already mentioned. High Anxiety, love High Anxiety.
High Anxiety is a good film.
Of course, I could talk about Waterboy for days. That part when what's his name? Henry Winkler throws the baseball out of the window and hits the Colonel in the head, and he makes that funny noise. My brother and I rewound that part so many times, like for an hour straight, just when it went, just whatever that noise was. Anyways, another movie. It's from the Happy Madison Studios, Grandma's Boy.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
I love that movie.
That's another one.
I love that
that's
movie.
Probably pretty good.
And Half Baked.
That's Danny DeVito.
Half-Baked.
That's Danny DeVito and Dave Chappelle, isn't it?
No, that's Jim Brewer and
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
Jim
Brewer.
Brewer.
I forgot about
Is
that
it
movie.
John Leguizamo?
It's not John Leguizamo.
No,
it's got Dave
It's sad
Chappelle. It's got Jim Brewer.
Uh-huh.
It's got that short guy, the one that does that scene where he's quitting the thing and he's like,
Yeah.
"You're cool.
Yeah.
I'm out."
It wasn't Leguizamo. I don't know.
No, and then there's a fourth guy, but I can't remember. That movie's great.
Oh God, yeah, the one that's in prison the whole time, and he's got that so he's like, oh, by myself.
All right, so there are our best comedies. Very hard to do, but it has been done. Folks, we will see you next week on another Saturday morning Samoflange.
What'd you say about Whataburger? I'll be right back. Hold on.
What just happened?
Did you say Whataburger sucks? What did you say about Whataburger? What happened? Terrapin?
Does that mean Whataburger was slow?
Yeah.
Dadgummit, man, I want my breakfast sandwich. Hey, is that what a breakfast sandwich?
What is that?
What a hash brown.
Well,
You're
anyway.
using your
God, that was a perfectly timed, too. That just got totally
I didn't know he was gonna
shake.
I didn't know she was gonna
It got samurai'd right in half.
That tastes like how it's gonna smell later.
Oh, mercy me.
All right.
Mankapudu.
I think we should go with you with a mouthful of stuff. Just let you mumble through it.
Stop eating because I'm fat.
Am I eating because I'm bored?